Ceremonies to mark the 75th anniversary of the Battle of Arnhem are taking place this week. This was the ill-fated operation to try to bring an early end to the Second World War. The massive airdrop behind enemy lines was codenamed Market Garden and was immortalised in the film A Bridge Too Far. One little-known story is that of a Scottish unit that suffered devastating losses and was nearly completely wiped out. Cameron Buttle reports.
It was a bold plan. Drop thousands of British troops behind enemy lines here in German-occupied Holland. Then capture 9 bridges and hold them until the ground forces arrive. So on the 17th of September 1944, British soldiers started dropping from the sky, thousands upon thousands of them, by parachute and glider. There were so many white parachutes in the sky that one local said it was like it was snowing in September.
This is the story of that glorious yet tragic operation, which, in Mr. Churchill's words, will take a lasting place in our military annals.
Among the huge invasion force was the 7th Battalion of the King's Own Scottish Borderers. 740 men who had spent their war on home defence. Most had never been anywhere near the fighting. Now they were dropped right behind enemy lines. One of them was 19-year-old Jeff Roberts.
We landed okay, had quite a good landing. It's like a Sunday morning exercise, very quiet. The piper piped us in with blue bonnets.
But the operation was going badly wrong everywhere else.
Crashed and burning aircraft are but a fraction of the price to be paid.
The ground forces couldn't break through, and that left thousands of men cut off and running out of supplies and ammunition. The borderers dug in around a hotel they nicknamed the White House.
And it was pretty naughty there. The Germans were pretty good with the mortars, and once they got your range, they didn't let up for 2.5 days. Great to be home.
Yes, it is. Welcome again.
Today, the borderers are still fondly remembered.
I tell you what, they didn't have seats out for us in 1944.
75 years on, every street flies a flag in memory of the airborne soldiers. After 9 days of fighting, the borderers were eventually trapped in a few houses on these streets. But they were still being led by Lieutenant Colonel Peyton Reed. Now, this was a man who'd fought in the trenches of the First World War. He was deemed to be too old to fight on D-Day just a few months earlier. But here, on these streets, he led 3 bayonet charges.
Peyton Reed's presence during that fighting in the perimeter was absolutely critical. He dominated by force of personality and by personal example.
Operation Market Garden was a disaster. The losses hard to comprehend. Of the 740 borderers who landed, only 74 made it out. Many are buried here at the Airborne Cemetery. After the war, the local children were each given a grave to care for. Wilhelmina Reichen was 9 years old, and she still visits today.
When my children were about the age of the boys here, I took them with me and said, look at those stones and look at the age. You are still alive because of them laying here.
This was the site most of the soldiers never saw, Arnhem Bridge, the bridge too far. It was a plan to end the war in a matter of weeks, a plan that failed, and many paid the ultimate price. Cameron Buttle, reporting Scotland, Arnhem.
The Scotland rugby